One of the most common reasons I've found for people to lose their faith is because atheists have been arguing against them, saying there is no such thing as God. Well, it's logically impossible to prove God does not exist. Some atheists, though, have said that certain great atheists, as they say, have proven that God doesn't exist by disproving some of his great feats. For example, Darwin proving evolution through natural selection and therefore disproving creation, and Newton proving gravitation and optics and therefore ruling out some of God's greater works such as lightning. Except for one slight problem: they're not atheists. Darwin went to church and was a great Christian, and Newton believed that physics, Newtonian physics as it later became known, would be done to the glory of God. This is a theory which I call the Babel fish theory. That I took from a great book. I've always said anything, it's not the Bible. It is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, a great atheist. I have little evidence to prove that he is an atheist, but still. The Babelfish theory starts off with a simple passage about a certain fish. The Babelfish is small, yellow, leech-like, and quite probably the oddest thing in existence. It feeds on brainwave energy, absorbing all unconscious frequencies and excreting telepathically a matrix formed from the conscious frequencies and nerve signals picked up from the speech centers of the brain. The practical upshot of which is, if you stick one in your ear, you can instantly understand anything said to you in any form of language. I'm pretty sure by now you're thinking, what are you talking about? Are you completely mad? Let me carry on. Now, it's such a bizarrely improbable coincidence that anything so mind-bogglingly useful could have evolved purely by chance, that some thinkers have chosen to see this as final and clinching proof of the non-existence of God. Now, once more, you're probably thinking, I have gone mad. Talking about a fish that clearly can't have evolved on its own, proving God does not exist. The argument goes something like this. I refuse to prove I exist, says God, for proof denies faith, and without faith I'm nothing. But, says man, the Babelfish is a dead giveaway. It can't have evolved on its own, it proves to exist, and therefore, by your own argument, you don't, QED. Oh, I never thought of that, says God, and promptly vanishes in a puff of logic. Oh, that was easy, says man, and for an encore proves that black is white, and gets killed on the next zebra crossing. There's a passage in here that sums up my whole Babelfish philosophy. Said by God himself, I refuse to prove I exist, for proof denies faith. Without faith, I'm nothing. Proof denies faith. Without faith, I'm nothing. We have faith in God, and he exists for us. And the beautiful thing is, it's flexible. Anyone can apply this to their religion. It can be applied to Islam. It can be applied to Hinduism. Even paganism with all their gods. You can apply it to any religion and it still holds. As long as you have faith in that particular god. Now, how can this be used for fighting against atheists? Well, seeing as you can't really prove God exists without finding evidence for him, that does sort of give the atheists an interesting argument. If they try looking for reasons that God does not exist, all they're doing is proving that he does. So we had to get them to look for proof or evidence of God. which they're going to find difficult in the first place. But if they do, one can simply argue, yeah, that's not real proof. Yeah, that's rubbish. That's like rubbish. So, the trick is to get them more and more irritated, till eventually they're saying, this is definitely proof of God. And you can say, do you have faith in it? Do you have faith this argument proves God exists? And if they say yes, then they've succeeded. But do they? Well, the answer is, through that argument that they have faith in that proves God exists, they therefore have faith that God exists. And through that faith, God exists for them. It's twisted and convoluted, but ultimately, it shuts them up. If they want people not to believe in God, they got no hope. If they want to disprove God, they got no hope. All they can do is just say, I don't believe in God, and He won't exist for them. They can't argue against Him. So remember, if you don't want to believe in God, that's perfectly fine. He doesn't have to exist if you don't want Him to, at least in your mind. If you want to believe in God, then by all means do. He exists for you if you have faith. I haven't actually been given a chance to use this argument fully, because no one has given me the required arguments to go against it. But it's a good way to build up a faith that is flexible and encompasses all. Remember this, and God be with you, my friends.